Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? My voice is audible. Oh, sorry. Good morning. Equipments. Am I audible? Okay. Then let me go to just direct to the sharing the screen. Equipments. Okay. Hmm. So last class, I think screen was not visible or something like that. There was problem in the connection also last time also. So today the last class when I'll go in short, like what were the last class what we had discussed. Actually, what I have showed you was list of your some of the most prominently used art moving equipments in the construction industry. Okay, so these are the equipments which are used for your any kind of arts related arts moving kind of works, okay, whether it be simply shovel work or excavating huge areas or small areas. Okay, so based on that there are different types but their work is same, that is they are used for the art moving purposes, okay, for any kind of jobs you want. So excavator, first one being the excavator. First one is what? Your excavators. These are the heavy machines which consist of base cabin. You have already, I think I have also showed you in the last class the picture of that excavators. You have already, which we call it to be which you popularly know as your JCB and all when you talk. But actually, these are your excavators which are used for your excavating of your earthwork. Okay, and so they have what? A cabin is there where the driver sits and moves and controls the uh, bucket, how where to move, how to cut, where to hold the soils. Okay, so there is a base cabin there where the driver sits and controls the things, and a long arm, the long arm, with a bucket attachment at its end. You already know this thing. Okay, so the long arm is nothing but your this kind of this is there, right? When you excavators, in your excavators you will have this long arm where with the help of this they what they do, they operate, that means they excavate the earth fillings here, whatever is here, the earth fillings or any kind of earth related works here. So to control and to operate those things, here one cabin is there to control this arm, here one cabin is there, and then where the driver will sit and it will hold the control the arm, okay, and this bucket for the this thing, the for excavating or for taking out the earth fillings, okay, whether it to fill it or to excavate it, these are your excavators. Okay, with the help of they use the hydraulic system to function, obviously. So the operator controls the excavator from the base cabin, already I mentioned, which is capable of rotating at 360 degree. This is 360 degree, okay. The base cabin is placed on a supporting structure with either wheels or tracks. So this base cabin from where the driver is controlling, it is supported on, this is supported on a structure, okay. So this structure is what? This structure is in it the tires or it can be the tracks, okay. So excavators are widely used in both small as well as, depending upon the size depends upon the excavators, buckets, etc., and the machine power. So based on that the base cabin is placed, okay. So excavators are widely used in both small and as well as large construction sites. Their application include what? The excavation, demolition, heavy lifting, grading, landscaping, mining, dredging, and more. Okay, so basically, we were interested in finding out the equipments which are dealing or which deal with the earth moving work. So this is also excavators are those which also they excavate and they are related to that soil. Okay, But other than that also they have these works like other than excavation, they have demolition waste. They are used for include they are their application includes in demolition. That means breaking up of the, the buildings or some houses, shops, when they break those things na. So that is that creates a demolition wastes. Okay, then heavy lifting, grading, landscaping, for all this purpose also you can use your excavators. Then we have the backhoe loaders. Similar to your excavator is your backhoe loaders. Okay, so backhoe is what? It is an work equipment which is used for excavating the soil, earth, and which comes under power shovel group. Mutiur Rahman, you mute yourself. This equipment is named as hoe. Okay, as it is digging mechanism resembles the ordinary garden hoe, hence the name. So backhoe loaders are also same kind of like excavators. Okay, they are from the power shovel group. So backhoe loaders or backhoes are tire mounted machines with a shovel at the front, okay, and a bucket attached to a joint arm at the rear end. They look quite similar to farm tractors, and their mobility makes them ideal for use in urban areas. Okay, so they look quite similar to farm tractors, and their mobility makes them ideal. Okay, so backhoe loaders are medium sized. Backhoe loaders are medium sized. Okay, machines that can be used for applications such as these are also used for your excavation works, digging trenches, okay, placing pipes. Generally what is there, the tractor was used for your excavating or for demolition waste, for carrying of huge mines, etc. Okay, but then this backhoe loaders, they are used for your narrow kind of excavations also. Okay, like you see, the excavation work is for there, also digging trenches, then placing pipes, okay, filling up, because they have a narrow kind of that bucket which is used for, for your trenches, when you need to lay some for pipelines, you need to dig the narrow parts, so that are your trenches. So also pipelines, when you're constructing pipeline, for that you have to excavate, so that we can use backhoe loaders there, filling up trenches, lifting materials, etc. Basically all these kind of equipments have the almost, similar kind of applications. So some backhoe loaders come with retractable buckets that can either be replaced with equipment used for other construction activities, or buckets of varying sizes that can be used for applications such as digging trenches varying in width. Okay, so this backhoe loaders, they can be what? Their bucket can be, their buckets can be changed with the according to the size of which you want. Like if you want just a narrow trench to make, you can uh, take that size, and then you can take that size bucket and use that in your this backhoe loaders as for excavation purpose. Okay, next is your bulldozers. So bulldozers also similar kind of those heavy machines that can be used for your uh, for digging, or on the construction sites you will see those bulldozers, big bulldozers, which are, they are excavating things, or moving or shifting different heavy materials from here to here, from one end to the other end. So these are your bulldozers. Okay, they are used for your moving huge amount of dirt or soil in large open construction sites. Okay, so they have a large metal plate in front which can be moved up, down until a certain depth or in the limited range of angles, which using two hydraulic pistons attached to it. Okay, so apart from moving soil, they can also be used for your rough grading, fine grading, crushing, or removing of rocks. So as I told you, these artwork equipments are almost similar kinds. So we have the tractors, we have the backhoe loaders, we have the bulldozers. Main work is there to excavate or to shift the heavy materials from one place to the other, or grading also they can do, fine grading, crushing. Okay, so next is a skid steer loaders. As the name suggests, these are the tire mounted small sized machines which can skid on their own axis and therefore are available, applicable, highly applicable in space constrained construction sites. Okay, someone is waiting in the lobby. Okay. So we have this one. Okay, so skidster loaders are what? See, the names which are different names are there, whether it be bulldozer, skid stair loaders, or whether it be trenchers, etc. So these are your nothing but these are your what? Based on the uh, their different mechanism, or their different uh, like some can be used tires, some can be used with the typical they can be based on their application. Some of the equipments can be named, some of them can be named based on their wheel or the movements. Like in the skid steer loaders, what happens is smaller as compared to your bulldozers. Okay, but they have what? A tire mounted small size machines which can skid on their own axis and therefore are highly applicable in space constrained construction sites where you have your construction site is not very big, you have a very small gully, you say, for a very small path is there where you want to have some uh, construction of a house, small house, or a construction of drains. For that, you have to dig the material. So, in those small areas, small, very small, narrow areas where you don't, where you cannot take the bulldozers, etc., the big ones. So, you can take your skid steer loaders, which have a tire, which are tire mounted basically. Okay, the tread pattern used in their tires ensure that they have minimal impact or finish construction sites, and they limit soil compaction. Okay, so these machines provide a good grip on snow as well as mud. Okay, so you see those different materials like the backhoe loaders, it may be the backhoe loaders or the other one. They are used in big construction sites. This is used in small construction site, as well as you see these skid steer loaders are more used in your muddy or snow kind of areas, because the other ones, the other equipments which we have discussed, they may not be proper in the muddy areas, or they may have some difficulties, they may face difficulties on those areas. But that's why for smooth movement in small narrow paths as well as in muddy or snowy areas, you can use your skid steer loaders because they work there very properly. Okay, so we have now the next one is your trenchers. Trenchers are what? These are also the earth moving machines which are used for digging trenches, typically to be used for piping, okay, cabling or drainage purposes. So trenches are earth-moving machines which are used for digging trenches, typically to be used for piping. These trenchers, basically, they are used unlike the bulldozers, the tractors, the backhoe loaders, which we have discussed now. So those, unlike them, these are not used on those areas. This can be used, but this will take more time, or because they will be applying to a very short areas. So these are trenchers are basically used when we make some trenches, okay, for laying of pipes, or cabling purposes, or for drainage purposes. You're constructing a drain. So in that way, you have to excavate a trench, you have to make a trench, so that for that these trenchers are used. Okay, the material that has been dug up is deposited besides the trench by the Okay, sorry, this is by the, okay, by the conveyor system of the trencher. So these trenchers, they have this conveyor system. Okay, once the material has been dug up, is deposited beside the trench. Okay, suppose I'm telling you, this was your drainage. This drain has to be, or this trench has to be prepared for some piping or cabling purpose, or for drainage also, maybe. Okay, so suppose we are making this trench and we are using the trenchers. So your trencher is here. So what will happen, these trenchers, they don't have tires, but they have this conveyor kind of belt. They have this conveyor kind of belts which is moving. Okay, this is moving like this, and they have this arm. Oh, and then what they do, they pick up those, excavate these soils, and then besides the trench they deposit these soils. When they pick up from here, then they move it here. They move the soil excavating from here besides the trans they keep, and these on the side by side, this is moving. Okay, your conveyor belt system, this does not have any tires. This does not have any tire like the other ones, but this have what, this have the conveyor kind of belts. Okay, conveyor belts for moving. Okay, so different types of trenchers are available, which are according to their applicability. Based on the application, some trenchers can be used for construction equipment or the sturdiness of the surface to be trenched. Okay, the trenchers generally are mounted either on tracks or on wheels. Okay, these trenchers are these are the wheels. Above the wheels they have what, above the wheels they have the conveyor systems, okay, to move. Okay, next is your dozers. What are your dozers? They are excavating tools which are more efficient for short haul applications up to 100 meter. So when you have a short span work, 100 meter up to 100 meter, you can say. So for this, dozers are a blade kind of thing been attached at the machine front side, which is a tractor power unit. Okay. So this blade kind of dozer, which is known as dozer, is attached to the front of your tractor power unit. Okay. So the different types of your dozers are wheel mounted dozer based on your wheels or the movement. It is known as your wheel power. Sorry, wheel mounted dozer or crowl mounted dozer. Crowl mounted dozer means what? Unlike the wheel one is moving. Okay, so these is your hmm, wheel mounted dozer, and the crawler one is your crawler mounted dozer is your what? They will crawl like a, you know, those snails, etc. They will just crawl because this has a conveyor system. So you have what? Wheel mounted dozer. Okay, so wheel mounted dozer, earthquake equipment, wheel dozer, this type of equipment is good soils that have no sharp edge pieces and firm soil. Okay, so these wheel mounted dozers are used where you have a very firm soil. This is best used when surface is leveled and to handle downhill earthworks. Okay, so this system is used where when you have a very firm or level soil earthwork. Okay, in straight and leveled soil, you can use this dozers, that is the wheel dozers. But the crawling one, when you use your crawling one, you know, you can use anywhere. You can use on the level surface, you can use it on your hilly areas, on muddy areas, on chapped areas. Okay, for different types of soil conditions, you can use your crawler mounted this thing, this your crawler mounted dozer. Okay, so wheel dozers, these are used for level 1 compaction, and kneading to ground surface can be done due to its concentrated wheel load. This equipment is good for works which require long distance travel. Yeah, one more point in your wheel mounted dozer is that when you have to construct, when you are doing this for, when your construction site or the construction or the excavation is for a longer distance, we use our, what we use our wheel mounted dozer, so that there is no problem, because crawling is little slower, but it has an advantage that it can be used anywhere. It can crawl and it can use balance, and anywhere it can be used. Okay, for handling of loose soils, this equipment is the best option. Equipment speeds can be at range of 8 to 26 meter per hour, and this have fast return speed. The only drawback with this equipment is if surface conditions are wet, then operations with this equipment can slow down or may stop. So this is the most important one. Okay, this is the most important point, that uh, it can be used where, it can be used only on the plain level surfaces and on loose soils, but it cannot be used on the wet soils. Okay, because the crowder can be used perfectly on those type of soils. So next you have your crawler mounted dozer. Okay, this equipment is able to handle only the moderate blade loads. But crawler mounted dozer, what are those? These crawler mounted crawler dozers can be able to work on sharp edge pieces on a variety of soils, on a variety different types of soil. This type of equipment can be able to work at any terrain. Yes, as we told you, the crawler one can be used on any kind of works in any terrain. This can easily work. This can easily able to work over mud, slick surfaces, and on the soft grounds. This equipment is best if the work require very short distance. Okay, when you have a very short distance, you need to excavate or you need to level the ground for a shorter distance. Then what you can do, you can use your crawler mounted. Suppose your this the soil is wet. It is wet. It has a lot of water in it, moistures in it, muddy area. So you will have to use a crawler mounted dozer, right? And also, if your ground is if your distance of if your distance is short, you can also opt for your this crawler mounted dozer, because it will be economical. Okay, and based on your condition, like if your soil is suppose muddy, but it has a longer distance, it has to carry or cover a longer distance. So what you can do is, the muddy areas you can do with your crawler one, and the longer distances you can do with your wheel one. Okay, or you have to check what is your soil condition, how, which is better for you. Okay, but if it is long, you can use your wheel one. But if it's not possible, we will obviously you have to use your crawler mounted blade dozer only. Okay, for short distances, best works for your short distances. Then we have this equipment can handle both loose soils and tight soil. Any kind of soil on any terrains it can be used. Okay, this equipment speed ranges between 5 to 10 meter per hour and have slow return speed. This can be able to push moderate and large blade loads. Okay. Now next is your tractors. Same thing. It can be wheel tractor or it can be your crawler tractor. Okay. For smaller distance work, this type of tractors are more suitable, and the pressure on ground of wheel tractor is this much. The wheel tractor's operation, maintenance, and repair cost is comparatively less, and but tractors can slip over smooth surfaces. Okay, so the crawler tractors are what now? The crawler tractors are generally used for shifting heavy loads in on rough surfaces. Okay, it consists of track with endless chain of steel rings made of steel plates connected one by one with bushing and pins. Okay, the traction coefficient of this tractor is 0.9, and this coefficient decides the optimum pull of the tractor. The crawler tractor have stick control, which is difficult to control. Next is your power shovel. Power shovel. Okay, so these power shovels are mainly used for what? Loading units and for hard earth digging above track level. Okay, when you have a very hard digging, when you have a very hard earth digging, that means like some hard strata or rocks are there beneath, so you have to move that, so you can do with your power shovel. This earthwork equipment can be able to excavate all classes of earth but fails in working with solid rocks. Okay, for solid rock it is not possible, but for hard earth, for hard earths, not for rocks, but for hard earths, dried hard earths, not muddy one. Okay, so if the solid rocks got loosened, then this equipment can be used. Okay, so on hard rock it is used as well as on the solid loose soils. Okay, this one, sorry, loosed rock. Rocks got loosened. The bucket capacity of the shovel is between 0.375 meter cube to 5 meter cube. Now, what is a drag line? Now your drag line, what is a drag line? The drag line is a machine which is used for digging the bucket against the material to be dug. Its long light boom is more helpful during digging when compared to power shovels. Okay, so these are different types of art work equipments, like for basically for your earth excavation purposes. Okay, so it's long light booms. Okay, clamshells is what? This earth equipment is used to dig water in vertical direction. Most of the characteristics of this clamshells equipment is similar to dragline equipment. This equipment has bucks hung from a crane, and they are like inverted jaws and work with a bitting motion. Clamshells, right? Let us see if I can let me show the images so that it will be a little bit clear to you, the drag line and the clamshells. Oh, I'm losing my connections. Like okay, we were about to see the clamshells. So these are your clamshells. Same, all these are of same thing, like bulldozers, excavators. Okay, I'll just show you the crawler one and the tire one difference. Okay. So you see here, these are your crawler. Huh. Although all the crawler ones are this kind, you have this crawling uh, conveyor belt here. Okay, and you also have what happened? Yeah, these are your conveyor belts used for crawling equipments, other control crawling equipments, and you see here these are tractor kind of these wheels. Okay, and these are simple short for narrow ones. You see, these are so small because they are used in your small areas. Okay, so these are your normal big tires tractors. Then you have your machines like how many types we have gone through. Dragline, power shovels, crawler tractors. This can be wheels or that. Dozers are very small ones which can be moved or you know. Then we have what? Skid steer loaders, trenchers, clamshells. Most of the characters of this clamshells equipment is similar to dragline equipment. Okay, so let us just see if we can see what is dragline image if I can show you. But mostly all the excavation works are same here. So for that we have to again go for dragline is a machine which is used for dragging the bucket against the material to be dug. Its long lid boom is more helpful during digging when compared to power shovels. So you have your these drag lines. This kind of crane systems are also used here. These are your drag line. So clamshells are similar to your drag lines. Then we have scrapper. The scrapper is an earthquake equipment which is used for scraping the ground, loading it simultaneously, can transport the load and can dump at desired location just for to move the
Ma'am,
scrapping grounds. Hello.
yeah, ma'am, like we have class now and teachers are asking us to join now.
Okay, no problem. I'll share the link for attendance in the WhatsApp group. Hello.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. I'll end the
Okay,
meeting
ma'am.
here. You can join to the other class. I'll share the attendance link, but give your attendance now itself. Okay. Within 10 minutes, around 10 minutes, I'm sharing the link.